Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
There he is, Pastor Christian Norman, Associate Pastor at the First Baptist Church in Woodstock. Christian, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
We are so happy that we could connect. We have a mutual friend, and I'm a little concerned that you have this guy as a friend, Randy Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
he's a troublemaker.
Great guy. I don't have any concerns. He's good with me.
Okay, we have concerns, but that's a whole nother issue. No,
Yeah.
we love Randy to pieces. He is a legend to us. We love hanging with him. So we are so glad that you're at First Baptist Church of Woodstock. And when he mentioned your name and where you're from, I thought, I wonder what got him here. What's the complete story? So we've got you there on screen, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on the radio. How did this all come about?
Yeah, well, I'll try to be brief. To make a long story short, Derek Jackson, who's the executive pastor here at First Baptist Woodstock, he and I served together at a church back in Michigan in the metro area of Detroit. So through our relationship, he just gave me a call about his transition to First Baptist Woodstock and asked me if I would like to join staff. And because some doors had started to close as far as planning a church in the city of Detroit happened, I figured, hey, this may be where the Lord is calling me and my family next.
Now, were you born and raised in Michigan in the Detroit area or what?
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, born and raised.
Dan and I have a friend that we used to work with for how many years? Years and years, Dan. Chelsea.
Yeah.
He lives in Chelsea now. I'm sure that's a long way away from Detroit, but great folks in Michigan and the Detroit area. So, well, we're glad you're here. How was the First Baptist Church in Woodstock has been, legendary here in the Metro Atlanta area. Johnny Hunt has taken it just over the top. And then the new pastor comes in and is still going strong. How is your transition, everybody that's new in on this team?
Yeah, I've been incredibly encouraged by the response that I've seen from the people at First Baptist Woodstock. It's been a little bit different because of COVID-19. I moved on March 28th, and when I did that, there was virtually nobody outside, so it felt like a ghost town.
Yeah.
But as far as the congregants and how they responded to me and the rest of the new leaders, it's been very encouraging. The people at First Baptist Woodstock are excited about the gospel. They're excited about mission and outreach. So I can't wait to see everything that God is going to do.
Wow, what a time to move, right? Smack in the middle of COVID when you come in and nothing is going like it would normally go. So how are you guys at First Baptist Woodstock doing it? Are you guys back in the church building yet, or are you still waiting to see?
Well, the way that Pastor Jeremy puts it, our senior pastor, is that we want to give people the option. So our online platforms are still going strong, but we have opened up our doors so that people can come in if they so choose. We're not operating at full capacity. So all of our Sunday schools and Sunday morning groups aren't back just yet. There's a lot of logistics that we have to think through. But for the most part, when it comes to the corporate gathering, people have the option to watch online or to come in person.
We're talking with Pastor Christian Norman. He is one of the associate pastors at First Baptist Church in Woodstock. From Detroit, are you a Lions, Tigers, Red Wings fan? Any of the above? None of the above? What?
So I don't support mediocrity. It just so happens in this season, all of our major sports teams are performing very badly. So I can't support anybody. I'll wait to see which owner is going to take some concrete steps to improve their teams. But until then, man, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't get behind it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have other friends from Michigan, and they're Lions fans, and they just it's almost like being a Cub fan years and years ago. It's just
used to being a letdown.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, there's always next year, right? Pastor Christian Norman there. So let's talk a little bit about obviously, and you just mentioned with COVID and the streaming and the some are able to come to the building, some not, and rightly so. So what do you think as we get on the other side of this? What do you think we've all learned? What have you learned personally through this whole thing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that God has been teaching me as an individual is the reality that I am not in control. And because of COVID, we've all had to adjust. We've all had to learn how to be flexible. So I think that on the other side, people may be more open-handed and recognizing that we could do things differently. And I think one of the good things for the church, one of the nuggets for the church, is that we've been forced to familiarize ourselves with online platforms. We live in a day and an age where if I want to buy a piece of furniture, if I want to order food, if I want to buy a car, if I want to find an employee, I mean, we use online platforms for everything we do. So we've learned how to be creative and how to be more effective with what we're doing on our website and social media. So I think that there's some nuggets of truth in there for the church, that if we want to reach people effectively moving forward, we should be creative with how we use our online platforms.
Christian, what is at your heart in ministry and what you want to accomplish there at First Baptist Woodstock?
That's a great question. Ever since I came to Christ, discipleship has been a big part of my spiritual formation and development.
Mm-hmm.
I was immediately discipled after conversion. I was taught how to make disciples. In my previous context, I launched discipleship groups, not only in our church, but also on college campuses and in neighborhoods. So if there's anything that I want to do at First Baptist Woodstock is walk people through intentionally and practically, how can we steward the gospel in environments that are outside of church walls, because that's the mission. We're called to be salt, we're called to be light, and we're called to make disciples of all nations. So if there's anything that I do, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we were talking about streaming and just the whole thing of just growing in this particular way of ministering. And I don't know if you can answer this or not, because I just thought of the question. I don't know what school that you came from, but back in the day, I went to Bible college. It's been probably, 30 years now. We didn't, of course, have the internet. We didn't have the Facebook. Yeah, we didn't have any of those. I'm just wondering, even through this whole COVID and how we've all had to adjust, do you think that's being taught now in seminaries and Bible colleges, where they're saying, okay, well, this is what happened. This is how we reach a different set of people, more people maybe. And just in case this ever happens again, this is how we put it into place. Is that going on? Do you know? I don't know.
Well, from the perspective of a fairly recent graduate from Moody Theological Seminary, I do not recall taking any courses about how to leverage media. So I think it's something that's worth considering. Again, if we want to minister with awareness of the times in which we live, the content, the truth, that doesn't change. The gospel remains the same, no matter where you're at or what time you're working in ministry. But the context and the culture in which the gospel is taking place, those things do shift. And if we want to be effective, just like the Apostle Paul did, just like the Lord Jesus Christ himself did, we have to be familiar with our environments and make the necessary adjustments without sacrificing the truth.
Should I text Pastor Jeremy and see if he can get you on that? And that's just one more thing you need to do.
Yeah.
Well, in all seriousness, I have been tasked with working through what we can do innovatively with our online platform. So a part of my responsibilities, I'll just say this, there's a lot to do. And that's one of them.
Yeah.
It never stops.
No, it doesn't. Christian Norman, he's associate pastor at First Baptist Church, Woodstock. We're just about to run out of time. But real quick, I want to ask you back to, you were talking about discipleship and how that's at the heart of what you want to do. What would you say to someone who would say, yeah, I want to disciple people, but I don't know where to start. I'm not equipped to do that. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I think many people believe, unfortunately, that they have to be seminarians, that they have to be the world's greatest theologians in order to start the process of making disciples. But the reality is, if you look in scripture, particularly John 4, when Jesus is having that conversation with the woman at the well, after she places her faith in him, she immediately goes back and reaches her entire city for the sake of the gospel by simply telling people what God had done in her life and pointing them to Jesus. So you don't have to be the world's greatest theologian to start making disciples. My encouragement to people who believe that is to just start. And as you start making disciples, then you grow, then you see your areas of weakness, then you see how God is using you and where you can do some things differently. But if you never start, then you never get access to those lessons to grow.
Great point.
Great answer. Pastor Christian Norman, Associate Pastor at First Baptist Church, Woodstock. Hey, Pastor, we're so glad you're here. Thanks for making a giant obedient step. And we just pray that God will continue to bless you and your family, and your ministry will just enhance and continue to be fruitful wherever you go and whatever you do. God's blessings all over you. Thank you so much. Hey, we got to take a break. You can go to fbcw.org to find out more about that amazing team. Hey, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.